Take a moment to look at a map. Notice the southern tip of Europe and the northern edge of Africa. There, the continents seem to almost reach out to each other, separated by the thinnest sliver of blue. Europe and Africa nearly touch, divided by just 9 miles of water at the Strait of Gibraltar. This narrow passage is all that keeps two vast continents apart, a mere blink on the globe, yet a world of difference in reality. Spain stretches down from the European mainland, its rocky coast reaching toward the horizon. Morocco rises up from Africa, its mountains and cities just visible across the water. Here the landmasses seem to yearn for connection, as if the continents themselves are aware of how close they truly are. On a clear day, you can stand on the coast of Spain and see the hills of Morocco shimmering in the distance. The view is so close it almost feels like you could swim across or even walk, if only there were a bridge. For centuries, this proximity has sparked the imagination. People have dreamed of bridging this gap, a physical link between two continents, a structure that would unite Europe and Africa in a way never seen before. Such a bridge would be more than just concrete and steel. It would stand as a symbol of human ambition, a testament to our desire to connect, to trade, to share ideas and cultures. It would be a bold statement that no divide is too great to overcome. Imagine the possibilities, goods and people moving freely, cultures blending at the crossroads of continents, economies growing together. The strait could become a vibrant artery of exchange, a place where Europe and Africa truly meet. But those 9 miles are some of the most challenging on Earth. The water here is not calm or welcoming. Powerful currents surge through the strait, driven by the Atlantic and the Mediterranean, making navigation and construction treacherous. The dream of a bridge always collides with harsh reality. Nature throws up obstacles, violent storms, shifting winds, and an unstable rocky seabed. And then, there are the human challenges. Complex economics, delicate politics, and the need for cooperation between nations with different priorities. Every time the idea is revived, these obstacles loom large. Engineers and planners return to their blueprints only to find new complications. The technical demands are immense and the costs staggering. The short distance hides a mountain of problems. Beneath the surface, the geology is unstable, riddled with faults and deep trenches. Above, the weather can change in an instant, turning calm seas into chaos. Why has this bridge never been built? The answer lies in the water, the ground, and the air above the strait. Each element presents its own set of challenges, each more daunting than the last. It's a story of immense technical challenges and the limits of international cooperation. Even when the will exists, the path forward is never simple. Agreements must be reached, funding secured, and risks managed. To understand why Europe and Africa remain separate, we must look closely at this small but mighty body of water. The strait is both a barrier and a bridge, a place where dreams of connection are tested by the forces of nature and history. The geography here both invites and forbids connection. It teases us with its nearness, yet warns us with its dangers. The strait is a reminder that not all distances are measured in miles. Some are measured in challenges yet to be overcome. The unbuilt bridge is a classic tale of humanity versus the planet, a lesson in the limits of our power, and a testament to the enduring mystery of the narrowest divide. The Strait of Gibraltar is the only natural passage between the vast Atlantic Ocean and the enclosed Mediterranean Sea, a narrow gateway that has shaped the course of global trade and history for centuries. This slender stretch of water, just 14 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, is one of the most strategically significant maritime choke points on Earth. Every year, more than 100,000 ships navigate these waters, from colossal container ships stacked high with goods to oil tankers carrying energy supplies and even smaller vessels making local crossings. The sheer volume of traffic makes the strait one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, a true artery of international commerce. If a bridge were ever to span this gap, it would need to soar to extraordinary heights, taller than most skyscrapers, just to allow these enormous ships to pass safely beneath. Anything less would create a hazardous obstacle, threatening both navigation and safety in this already congested waterway. The land flanking the strait is no less challenging. Both the European and African sides are dominated by steep, rocky mountains and rugged terrain. Anchoring the foundations of a massive bridge here would require unprecedented engineering solutions, pushing the limits of what's possible in construction. To even reach the bridge, approach roads and railways would have to be painstakingly carved through these mountains, not simply laid across flat ground. This would mean years of tunneling, blasting and building, all in some of the most difficult terrain imaginable. The Strait's critical role in global trade means that any disruption, whether from construction, accidents or even temporary closures, could send shockwaves through the world economy. Delays here would ripple out, affecting supply chains and markets on every continent. Building such a bridge would inevitably interfere with shipping for years, forcing ships to navigate around construction zones and increasing the risk of accidents. Even after completion, the bridge itself would remain a permanent risk factor in this vital corridor. This isn't just a local challenge for Spain and Morocco. The fate of the Strait of Gibraltar is a global concern, impacting every nation that depends on the smooth flow of goods through this narrow but essential maritime artery. The world watches closely, knowing that what happens here affects us all. The real challenge isn't the width, it's the depth. The strait plunges to 900 meters, nearly 3,000 feet, far deeper than any bridge has ever spanned. Building pillars from that depth is beyond current technology. It would require remote-controlled submarines and astronomical costs. A traditional bridge is impossible here. Only a suspension bridge could work, but it would need the longest single span ever attempted, over 5 kilometers. The seabed is covered in soft, unstable sediment, not solid rock. Even near the coasts, foundations would have to be dug deep, adding complexity and expense. The deep water is a hostile environment from surface to sea floor. The Strait of Gibraltar is a place of constant, violent motion. Powerful currents flow in both directions, Atlantic water eastward on the surface, denser Mediterranean water westward below. Any structure would face relentless forces from these opposing currents. Above, fierce winds, Levante and Poniente, can reach gale force, battering anything built high above the water. A bridge deck would need extreme aerodynamic stability to survive. Saltwater spray would corrode steel and concrete, while currents would scour foundations. Building and maintaining a bridge here would be like working in a permanent storm. The strait sits atop the collision zone of the Eurasian and African tectonic plates, a known seismic hotspot. Earthquakes and tsunamis have devastated the region before. A bridge would need to withstand violent shaking, unpredictable ground movement, and even tsunami waves. The fault line is complex and fractured, making it hard to predict the highest risk areas. Building massive towers on unstable ground is a monumental risk. An earthquake could undermine the entire structure. The world's greatest bridges, like the Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge or the Kanakkale 1915 Bridge, don't face all these challenges at once. The Gibraltar Bridge would need a main span more than twice as long as any existing bridge, with towers reaching into the clouds. No other project combines extreme depth, powerful currents, high winds, busy shipping, and seismic risk. The cost would be astronomical, tens of billions of dollars, making it one of the most expensive projects in history. This isn't just the next step in bridge building, it's a leap into the unknown. Even if the technical challenges vanished, political and economic hurdles remain. Spain and Morocco would need unprecedented cooperation, difficult given ongoing disputes and complex relations. The cost is far beyond what either country could afford alone. Massive international investment would be required. High tolls might be needed, but would enough traffic justify the cost? Security and migration concerns are huge. A bridge would create a new major land border. Environmental risks are severe. The strait is a critical migration route for marine life, and construction could devastate ecosystems. Legal battles and opposition would be inevitable. Because a bridge seems impossible, engineers have studied a tunnel under the strait for decades. A tunnel would avoid wind and shipping problems and preserve the landscape. The Channel Tunnel between the UK and France is a famous example, but the Strait of Gibraltar is much deeper and geologically unstable. The geology here is a chaotic mix of hard rock and soft, waterlogged clay, making tunneling extremely risky. Flooding is a constant threat. Spain and Morocco have studied a rail tunnel along a longer, shallower route, but it would still be deeper and more complex than any tunnel ever built. The cost is in the billions, and the project remains on the drawing board. The dream of linking Europe and Africa is powerful, capturing the imagination of engineers, politicians, and everyday people alike. For centuries, the idea of building a physical connection, a bridge or tunnel, across the Strait of Gibraltar, has inspired countless proposals and debates. Yet, for now it remains just that, a dream, shimmering on the horizon, always just out of reach. The challenges are immense. The water here is not only deep, plunging to over 900 meters in places, but the currents and winds are notoriously fierce, making construction hazardous and unpredictable. The earth beneath the strait is geologically unstable, prone to seismic activity and shifting tectonic plates, adding another layer of complexity to any engineering effort. No current technology can safely and economically overcome these combined challenges. Even the most advanced materials and construction techniques struggle to withstand the relentless forces of nature at play here. Past attempts and studies have highlighted the enormous risks and costs involved, often leading to abandoned plans and cautionary tales. And even if one day the technical problems were solved, the political, financial, and environmental hurdles would remain. The strait is a vital shipping lane, a protected natural habitat, and a symbolic boundary between continents. Any project would require unprecedented cooperation between nations, massive investment, and careful consideration of environmental impacts. The tunnel is a more realistic, though still daunting, alternative, trading weather and shipping problems for immense geological risks. Tunneling beneath the seabed would mean confronting unstable rock, high water pressure, and the ever-present threat of earthquakes. The scale and cost of such a project would rival or exceed any tunnel built to date. For now, the 9 miles between Europe and Africa represent the limits of our capabilities. This narrow stretch of water, so close and yet so formidable, stands as a testament to the power of nature and the boundaries it imposes on human ambition. The Strait of Gibraltar reminds us that despite all our technological progress, geography still matters. It shapes our world, our connections, and our dreams of what might one day be possible. Perhaps one day, technology and willpower will finally bridge the divide, uniting two continents in a feat of human ingenuity. Until then, the continents remain tantalizingly close, separated by just a few miles of water, yet for now, forever apart.